Good day, brothers and sisters. Today we are going to study the book of Daniel, particularly chapter number 2. I am Marty Centeno, and I hope you will learn something from this presentation. May I remind you, please take this presentation with a grain of salt. In, book, in Daniel chapter 2 is the topic about the dream of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. And in verse 1 we read, "And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him." After that the king commanded to call the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, to show him the dream, what he saw on the dream, and to give the interpretation. And we read on chapter verse 4 to 5. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, that's the language, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show thee interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, The thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. This job seems impossible to those who he has called: the astrologers, the magicians, the Chaldeans, the sorcerers. They cannot tell the dream, of course, because the king dreamt it, and they won't be able to show the interpretation. So, if you read the book of Daniel, chapter 2, you will know the whole story. And this then came Daniel. Then God showed Daniel the dream which the king Nebuchadnezzar had, had dreamt. And this is what the king has dreamt, as shown also to Daniel. In verse 31 to 35 we read, Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. Excuse me. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron, part of clay. Thou sawest still that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, and were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream which God shows also to Daniel. And this is the interpretation and the fulfillment. We read in verse 36, This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Although Daniel was not able to see the fulfillment, but we, current alive here, we know that this dream was fulfilled. So we continue on verse 37. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thy hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. This head of gold represents the king or the first kingdom, which is Babylon. Remember, Daniel was shown four kingdoms, not five, not six, but four. I highlighted in this the children of men, because some teachers at the later part of this chapter, uh, some of them gave interpretation on the seed of men. In here, Daniel did not give a particular interpretation on the details of the children of men, but the general uh, kingdom of the head of gold. In continuing, in verse 39, and after thee shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. So after the Babylonian, the first, after thee shall arise another kingdom. This is the next kingdom, which is inferior to the Babylonian Empire, which represent the Medo-Persian Empire. This is the second kingdom. And another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. This is the third kingdom, which represents the Grecian Empire. Continuing on verse 40, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all this, shall it break in pieces and bruise. This, brothers and sisters, is the fourth kingdom, which represents the Roman Empire. What Also, Daniel was shown a little bit of details about the fourth kingdom. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, talking about the fourth kingdom, the kingdom shall be divided. This is the interpretation of the feet and toes. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with clay. This is the interpretation of the iron mixed with miry clay, meaning it shall be in it the strength of iron. That's all it is. There's nothing else. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. That is the interpretation of being part of iron and part of clay, meaning the kingdom is partly strong and partly broken. A general description of the kingdom that is divided. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Again, the reason why I highlighted the children of men in the earlier slides, some are interpreting this seed of man into some stories just to uh, adapt into their eschatological teaching. But the interpretation is only here that they shall not cleave one to another. Again, the meaning of a divided kingdom. That is our four kingdoms. And the fourth kingdom historically ended on 476 AD. there's an overlapping of kingdom. In verse 44, and in the days of these kings, talking about the fourth kingdom, shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest the stone as cut out of the mountain, that's the interpretation of the God of heaven setting up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. That's that's the meaning, that it shall break in pieces and consume all this kingdom, and it shall stand forever. The great God had made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, brothers and sisters, and the interpretation thereof sure. There's no wrong about the interpretation, but it will be sure and it's certain. The dream is certain. What can we learn about the Daniel facts, the book of Daniel? What are the facts? First, the dream or the vision shows both to Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel, shows only four kingdoms, not five, not six. After the fourth is the kingdom that God set up. In the vision as well, God will set up a kingdom that's overlapping the fourth kingdom in the beginning in the days of these kings. And the fourth kingdom, brothers and sisters, if you have some preconceived ideas or preconceived beliefs, the Roman Empire, brothers and sisters, ended long ago. You cannot see a Roman Empire as of today. It ended long ago, and it will not be revived, because Daniel shows, uh, dreamt in the vision, and God gave the interpretation that there will be four kingdoms and it will not be revived. Currently, brothers and sisters, we are in the kingdom set up by God, which shall never be destroyed and shall stand forever. This kingdom that we are living in, the kingdom of His Son, it will stand forever, and it will fill the whole earth. Currently, I'm in Ireland, but I was born in the Philippines. But there are people living in the Philippines and in Ireland who are in this kingdom. And the kingdom, brothers and sisters, as shown to Daniel, shall not be left to other people. Those who believe in Christ shall possess it. We are possessing this kingdom. If you have learn something from this presentation, brothers and sisters, please share so others may learn, and please subscribe, because I have planned to do more videos in the coming weeks if God allows. Please take care and God bless.